You wrote a book, and when I first met you, you said, buy this book, it has everything that you need about real estate.
Somebody said to me once, contacts equal contracts. Just picture two semicircles with little dots in the middle, and that's the real estate business. It's belly to belly. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to sell.
Sellers who are looking to sell
Right.
and the buyers who are looking to buy,
Right.
both of them need some kind of professional help, hand-holding.
Right.
And sellers are willing to pitch in and help the buyers if it's totally a buyer's market versus the other way.
And I got one idea in that breakout session that I implemented, and over the next 20 years, I had gross commissions of $2 million just from implementing that one idea. According to Albert Ian Gray, the common denominator of success for all salespeople is successful salespeople have made a habit of doing those things unsuccessful people don't want to do.
Today I'm super excited because I have my biggest guru or my mentor who doesn't know that he's mentoring me, because he's been in real estate for years and always I looked upon the signs going around. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You've been in the business for what, 100 years now? Tell me about it.
This is my 48th year. So I'm getting very close to 50 years, half a century.
That's awesome. You wrote a book, and when I first met you, you said, buy this book, it has everything that you need about real estate. I want to hear about a couple of things. One, what changed from the time you started to now, and then give me a summary of that book, both of them.
Summary of the book. Okay. So the book you're talking about is called Rookie to Realtor Emeritus, and you can get it on Amazon. And it's my journey through real estate. Your question was, what's different between now and then?
Yeah.
So if we created a coin, and one side of the coin says people skills, and the other side of the coin says technology skills, the people skills are the same now as they were 48 years ago or 50 years ago. It's a relationship business. Somebody said to me once, contacts equal contracts. That's amazing. Just picture two semicircles with little dots in the middle, and that's the real estate business. It's belly to belly. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to sell. And the technology is different. When I started in the real estate business, believe it or not, there were MLS books that came out every week. And every Wednesday, we'd have an MLS meeting. We'd bring our books, and you would update the book. You go through it page by page. Here's a price change, stuff like that. And you were not allowed to give that book out. There were penalties if you gave somebody the MLS book. I don't have to tell you about technology now. You're giving somebody a portal into MLS. People can find everything on MLS. In the old days, you'd pick the properties to show people. Now they found the properties and they want you to show them. So the people skills are the same. The technology is just different.
I agree. See, this having the book of your listings and not sharing it with the customers directly is something that might have trickled down into what led to this NAR settlement. What do you think of the settlement? How did it impact the business? I'm not personally seeing as much of a change in how we do business in our brokerage, but what do you see that is different now?
I don't see any change at all, other than NAR has a very low ranking as far as what people think of them. And NAR has gone through a lot of turmoil. Besides the lawsuit, there's some internal turmoil. I believe several of the major officers have changed because of some hanky-panky going on. But as far as a real estate practitioner, I don't really see any change at all.
Paul, I agree 100% with it, because we have sellers who are looking to sell,
Right.
and the buyers who are looking to buy.
Right.
Both of them need some kind of professional help, hand-holding.
Right.
And sellers are willing to pitch in and help the buyers if it's totally a buyer's market versus the other way.
Right.
And the way it has been on the market, I'm also not seeing changes. I also want to ask you, tell me about your journey 50 years to now, right? I want to hear about that journey, how you sustained the ups and downs of the market, everything.
Okay. So I was born in Rhode Island, and I went to the University of Connecticut, graduated at the University of Connecticut, moved out to California, got a job in California, big global food company. They transferred me to Arizona. I found a house in the lakes in Tempe that I bought. So I spent a year working for the food company, and then I decided to get into real estate, just as a whim. I thought, 1977, I'm going to get into real estate. The house that I bought in the lake, Heron, was new construction, 2,000 square feet, 49.9.
Wow.
I could have been on the water for 64.9. That's the first thing I did. The second thing I did, I saw an ad in the paper which said Tempe Toastmasters, Smitty's, Southern and Mill, guests welcome. Tuesday morning, 6:15 to 8. So I went there because I didn't know anybody. And my first meeting, they asked me to participate in table topics. And, you know, it's an extemporaneous question. They give you, as you know, for a minute. And as I was talking, a bell was going off frequently. And at the end of the meeting, I got a little award. It was called the Wizard of Oz. And I thought, oh, I see, that's pretty funny. Well, I joined the club because I wanted to get rid of my Oz. And one of my first speeches was about a hero of mine who was Winston Churchill. And he has a great quote that said, of all the gifts bestowed upon man, none is so great as the gift of oratory. If a man loses all his friends and is stripped of all his powers, he who can command this gift will remain formidable. So, first thing I did when I got to Tempe, Arizona, was I bought a house. Second thing, I joined Toastmasters. And the third thing I did is I got into real estate, got my real estate license, and I went to work for Tom Fannin on Rural Road in Alameda. And the reason I chose them was because they had the best training program possible. They were 100% companies at the time. When I went to work for that company, Karan, my first few deals were less than a 50-50 split. I got less than 50-50. I had to get a listing and a sale just to earn the right to do floor time, which is answer the phones. So my first calendar year in the real estate business, I, as a solo agent, closed 55 deals. Now, if you did that today with a median price of about $450, your GCI the first year in the real estate business would be about $750,000. Not a bad first year in the real estate business. And my first year in the business, I got a GRI, graduate of the Realtors Institute. Within a couple of years, I had my CRS, which is Certified Residential Specialist. So you're seeing a trend develop. Education, education, education. The CRS designation, every year they have something called a celebration, which is a 2-day event somewhere in the country. And for 35 years, I went to each and every one of those. At one event that I went to one breakout session, and I got one idea in that breakout session that I implemented. And over the next 20 years, I had gross commissions of $2 million just from implementing that one idea.
I want to hear that idea.
The one idea, well, the session I went into, a guy by the name of Tony DiCello from Colorado had his telemarketer in there. And I was just amazed at how many leads that telemarketer was getting Tony DiCello. And I said, you know, if he can do that, I can do that. So I found a past client who wanted to work out of her house on the honor system. And she was given so much an hour and then a bonus if a deal closed. And that's the one idea. But the point is, there are lots of ideas. All you had to do was pick an idea and implement that one idea.
That's a terrific point. See, going back to how you said you worked for 100% brokerage, but then initially you're okay with less than 50% split because you had the mindset of learning first.
Right.
Learning, educating yourself, getting trained. That is a foundation. I am the same way. I am big into training, and that's why you also talked about Toastmasters, wherein I really learned more about you and the kind of humor that you can bring to the table. I want to hear about the weirdest sale. I'm sure you have a lot.
The weirdest sale I've ever had happened about a dozen years ago, and it happened. You know where Maricopa is?
Yes, Maricopa.
So picture, you drive down to Maricopa, you go south over the railroad tracks, you come to Harrah's Casino there.
Yeah.
You know where that is? Mm-hmm. You keep going south, and there's a road that heads west called Papago Road. You take that about 5 miles easy to Warren Road, and then you go south on Warren Road. And it's almost to I-8 that's heading into San Diego. So you have a picture of that, okay? So this house was in the shape of a pyramid on 13 acres.
You have the proof to show me?
I thought I'd bring it because you wouldn't believe me. Okay, so that's where it is.
Okay.
Okay, and this is a picture of the house. Is that a pyramid or is it not a pyramid?
Oh my God, it looks like an Egyptian pyramid.
Yeah, it is.
Totally.
And the inside had Egyptian artifacts. And why did they build that? Because the couple loved ancient Egypt stuff. Why did they sell it? Because the husband died. The wife, middle-aged woman, met someone in Scottsdale and the drive was killing her. Okay? So these, the top is mine. The bottom was the first time it went on the market. When it first went on the market, Karan,
295 to 1.1.
wait a minute, what did it first go on the market at? How much?
295.
No, go to the bottom, because the bottom is when it first went on the market. When it first went on the market, what price?
1.1, I see.
Yeah, 1.1 what?
1.1 million.
1.1
1
million,
million.
Correctamundo.
Yes.
Yeah. And how many different companies was it on the market with?
Oh my God, with Russ Lyon, then Arizona Elite, then Schlegel, then All for One, Russ Lyon, like everybody listed it. Then it came to Paul Pesco.
Then it came to me. Okay, so I don't even remember how I met this lady, but by the time she got to me, she was tremendously serious about selling the property. And whether it's 50 years ago, Karan, 10 years ago, or right now, there's only one reason a house doesn't sell. It's priced too high. Some people say, well, it looks ugly. Well, clean the house up or drop the price. Well, it's got a bad location. It's like right next to Palo Verde. Well, move the house or drop the price. What I did is I initially priced it at $499, and I said, get an appraisal on the property. She couldn't even find an appraiser that would appraise the property. I happened to find a buyer for that property, sign call, believe it or not, and the gal was had been in the military. She has VA financing. She wanted to buy the house VA. Nobody would finance it. It's such a weird property. And I said to the seller up front, I said, would you consider seller financing? Because it's free and clear. She goes, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyer happens to say to me, if I put $100,000 down, could I buy this house? And I was totally shocked. I figured a VA, you're going to put zero down on this house. Where she got $100,000, I don't know. So I said to the seller, here's the deal. She wants to finance it, seller financing, $100,000 down, put a 5-year call on this thing. And if we don't sell it this way, we can't finance the property. So it's either this way or not. Bottom line, drum roll, the seller wound up financing it for the buyer. My listing, my sale. The seller moves on, the buyer's happy, and the buyer's still in the house. That's the weirdest sale.
See, even though that is weird, it's extremely weird. I actually broke the excitement when I first went to 295, but it was listed at 1.1, listed with multiple brokers, wherein seller has been in denial about the acceptability of the property, the value of it. And then finally they had to come to a pro and then figure out a creative way to actually sell it. So location, condition, and the market actually derive what the actual sale will be, and sometimes sellers get very emotional about it.
Well, there's one exception to what you said. Was the seller unrealistic about the price, or did the agent give the seller the price or blow some smoke at the seller, giving them unrealistic expectations? I think it might have been the agent thinking custom house, 3,200 square feet, 13 acres, you can split it up. Let's go with $1.2 million. Well, it ain't happening.
Right. See, as agents, sometimes it's really very valuable. If you're unsure about it, get an appraiser and help with the price, because you need to get the appraisal.
Absolutely.
Okay, changing gears. I want to know about Toastmasters, and you bring a lot of books, and I see you handing out books to other youngsters in the club. Tell me your insight on reading
Yes.
and leading.
Well, someone said not every reader is a leader, but every leader is a reader. When I first got
Hold on, I have to
like
repeat
that,
it.
repeat that back to me.
Okay, not everybody who reads leads, but everybody who really leads reads.
Absolutely,
Yes.
positively. I'll give you an example. When I was new in the real estate business, somebody handed me a little pamphlet called The Common Denominator of Success by Albert E.N. Gray. Have you read that?
No, this is a book.
This is a pamphlet, and it's a pamphlet of a speech that a guy in the insurance industry gave in the 1940s. This is public domain, so anyone can go on the internet and download that. Now, what do you think is the common denominator of success for salespeople or people in real estate business? What do you think that is?
I think it's communication. According to me, I have to know what to say, when to say, how to say it
Okay.
at the right time, right place.
Okay.
That's what I think, communication.
Okay, that's
Am
a
I
good
right?
guess.
Yes.
And that is the correct answer to another question.
That means I'm wrong.
So, according to Albert Ian Gray, the common denominator of success for all salespeople is successful salespeople have made a habit of doing those things unsuccessful people don't want to do. Now, what do salespeople not want to do? What do real estate salespeople not want to do? They don't want to lead generate. They don't want to prospect. One of the best books, Karan, in the real estate business is Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's Keller Williams, what they call the Red Book.
Yeah.
And Gary Keller has a triangle in that book. You know, like if you're Catholic, like I grew up, you have the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Well, this is the real estate trinity. Leads, listings, and what's the other one?
Leverage.
Leverage, lead, listings, and leverage. If you focus on listings, if you focus on lead generation, and then if you leverage, you get somebody to do the paperwork so you can pay them $20 an hour and your time is now worth $200 an hour. That's about as easy as it gets.
That's a great reminder. I'm a big fan of Gary Keller. Actually,
yeah.
I had an opportunity to have lunch with him a few years ago. I was just blown away. He's a genius, regardless of how much criticism I see about him and his model and other competitors. I still have tremendous respect to the guy. He's a visionary, just like you actually, Paul,
my.
because there is so much of experience, knowledge, and wisdom in how you say it.
Right. And since I'm plugging Gary Keller, he has another great book. I don't know if you've read it. It's called The One Thing.
The one thing,
And he challenges you to find out what is your one thing. You know, so, but Gary Keller is a visionary, just a wonderful guy.
Yes. So what's that one thing, the pin that I see on your core?
Oh, what is this? Well, this little button here is the Realtor Emeritus shield. And if you're in the real estate business for 40 or more years, you can become a Realtor Emeritus. And if you're new or getting into the real estate business or you've been in there a little while, I would challenge you to create a wildly important goal called a WIG, or a big, hairy, audacious goal, according to Jim Collins, and get your Realtor Emeritus. In the old days, you just had to be alive for 40 years and in the real estate business. Now you have to be on a committee. So get involved with the board and set a long-term goal of being a Realtor Emeritus. It's a really cool designation.
Congratulations, Paul, on that. And actually, honor is mine that you have chosen to okay my request to come and talk to our audience, talk to me about your experience. And also, it's an inspiration for a lot of people who are getting into the industry. And finally, I wanted to ask you before we close, what is the one thing that new agents, like brand new agents or people considering the real estate industry as a career should do?
What should they do? They should get some great training. Not only training in the company that they're in, but take a few top producers to lunch and pick their brains. Something that I did, I can't forget it. When I was new in the business, they used to stress lead generation. Every day, Karan, from, I don't care if it's the summertime, I don't care if it's hot, but 10 to 12, I was knocking doors. From 1 to 3, I was knocking doors. I lived in the lakes in Tempe. I knocked every door in the lakes in Tempe. At one point, I didn't have any listings. I would just take a company listing and I would go to the people on either side and I would just say, hey, we have a listing in the area, have any real estate needs? No? See you later.
Right.
Thank you. Right?
And it has gotten easy with social media. You can literally door knock,
Sure.
or they call it the poke. They used to have a poke thing wherein you can send a message to people and do it. Thank you so much. Lot of knowledge. I wish I had more time, but people are not watching podcasts over 25 minutes, so we have to
Okay.
cut it off.
You were.
But I'm so excited to see you, and even I enjoyed the talk before and after the show, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.